Well, this video is about tarot. It's Grandpa Ricky. It's a movie video about things that have helped me enormously. And back in 1960, 62 or something, 63, I was very involved with some people who were very good at working a Ouija board. And I was an observer, and quite incredible experiences. And I found myself talking to somebody who told me their experience with Ouija boards and with spirits. And he taught me about the need to be careful with Ouija boards and spirits. And he had a profound experience where he was possessed by spirits and he was dying. And he, on his deathbed, realized that he was possessed by these spirits, which turned out to be mainly his belief. And he asked for a Catholic priest to be brought who knew how to do exorcisms. And this was in Europe, and they found a priest, and they brought the priest, and the priest did exorcism ceremonies. And this fellow got better in days. His lungs had filled up with fluid, and fluid around his lungs, couldn't breathe. And what he did was he eventually discovered the tarot. And he told me about the fact that there was a big temple in Alexandria, Constantinople, and that when a conqueror by the name of Alexander came to Constantinople, he ordered that all the churches and spiritual centers and places like that be destroyed. Only he was really afraid of the one that was dedicated to what is now Tarot. And this fellow told me that when you would walk into this temple, that there would be these big images and geometric shapes of energy fields. And then there was an inner sanctum, and you walked in and there were more. And that what the people who had been given a year to take this temple apart, they invented the modern cards, and they invented tarot cards, which have evolved over the years. And there was a man by the name of Aleister Crowley, and Aleister was in a spiritualist movement that was very popular a long time ago. It's still going on. But he commissioned a woman, well-educated, intuitive woman, great artist, to make a deck of these cards. And these cards are called the Thoth deck. And I've been using them for many years. And then a friend and teacher of mine by the name of Angeles Arian, she wrote a book called Tarot by Angeles Arian. And she was a healer, teacher, warrior, visionary, who ended up from Spain, the Basque Country in Europe, and she ended up at the Esalen Institute as a young woman, and was very good because of her training as a healer, teacher, warrior, visionary. That she could see things about people that nobody else could see. She was very, very, very intuitive. And she would do fortune telling, and people would get scared at what she was coming up with. So somebody told her apparently to get a Thoth deck and just lay the Thoth deck out and pretend that the cards were telling her all this information and people wouldn't be so frightened. So she would have these readings, but then she got interested in this deck, and she got a job. I think she was a junior high school teacher, and so she had some money. So she would hire researchers, and she was a great researcher herself, and she researched these things, and they then put it together as a book. And she would offer classes on how to use the cards. And every day when I wake up, I read spiritual text, quotations and things from all kinds of different teachers and notables. You know, what Jesus said, what Muhammad said, what Spider-Woman said, what Buddha said, Lotse. And it's really helped me become a better person. So this morning, I did the usual thing, and I drew a card. It's a beautiful card, and it's called the Five of Swords, and its name is defeat. And so I read this quotation. It's too long for me to read, but it really helped me. It helped me see that my dreams the night before and how I was feeling right then were affected by my fear of defeat and my fear of being hurt again and my fear of failure, trying something new. And when I read it, it was like, oh yeah, there it is. There's this quality that I woke up with that had been generated by my hopes and my loves, and it was like, and it was really great to kind of piece it together and to calm that part down and say, yes, I have those things in me which fear trying anything new, the fear of love. All based on how much I hurt as a kid and in past lifetimes, and also my mother and father had that same thing in their lives to deal with. And so when I could feel the truth of that, and to like feeling crappy, feeling defeat and defeated and afraid of defeat. I then experienced a shift. It was like my fear became transformed into, yes, you have to be careful and you have to make choices that are affirming my aspirations and my life's path. So I hope that this interests you in the tarot. All divination processes, no matter what they are, from flipping a coin, is really to draw your focus and your attention into being aware of what's in your unconscious. And I found it a very useful tool, and I hope you do too. And I also hope that you figure out a way to share the things that have helped you. And I don't know if anybody will ever see these videos that I make, but I'm making them in the hopes that maybe somebody will. Maybe one person, if one person sees one video that makes their life a little easier, then, I am so grateful. And that's how my life has been. People have done things and they weren't attached, like, no, I'm not trying to change your mind. They weren't trying to change my mind. They were just giving me the opportunity for another perspective. So if it feels right to you, get yourself a Thoth deck and get yourself Angelus's book. And even if you only draw one card a day after shuffling them carefully, you'll perhaps like me, be amazed at how helpful having that little tool is. And there are all kinds of people now making divination cards. But for me, because of my experience with the tarot, stories from that guy, I forget his name. It was like 1962. That's a long time ago. But anyway, I do hope it helps. And please share what's helping you. Okay, bye.